Could be cool, reducing cooldowns on kill. Is there anything else in there? Poison's fine. Breaker will do. Yeah, let's go to Sunken Ruins. But it's bizarre, right? It's like, okay, if Overpower wasn't so good, and the bear's initial damage wasn't so good to make up for its tankiness, it would be a trade-off. You'd say, oh, well, the bear is tougher, but the wolf deals more damage. But in order to make the bear playable, we don't just want it to be tough and nothing else. It's got these slow chances to maybe give you an overpower every now and again, and that will kind of, you know, you get a spike of damage, and it will overall, like, smooth out the curve. But it's not like that. You can just overpower so much and crit overpower, which is so much on top of so much, and you do it so often that you just leave the werewolf in the dust. You're not tougher on the werewolf because the bear is tougher, and you're not dealing more damage than the bear because the bear deals more damage, and that's it. You can see basically what they were going for. They wanted the bear to be tougher than the wolf. Fine. But the wolf moves around faster when the bear has a toughness bit, or the wolf, you know, can dash to enemies again to move around faster, whereas the bear just kind of stuns things along its path. Oh, okay. So they're different. That's cool. But are they fair? Are they different in a way that keeps them balanced together? No, they failed that. It's great that they're different, but it's just not fun that one's better than the other. Yeah, I don't get that. If they've nerfed the werewolf, then what were they even thinking? I only gave it like a quick try after I'd got a Shava killed in the beta on the Necromancer. In the last like few hours, I leveled the Druid up quickly and just went, oh well, this is kind of alright. And then the beta ended. In the longer beta, I leveled up the Necromancer to 220 and then just logged off because I was kind of tired of the day. Didn't play the rest of the days on it. And I went back to World of Warcraft to try and get a few more tokens. Because else I wasn't even going to be able to buy the game unless I got back into World of Warcraft and made the rest of the gold that I needed to trade in. I like the playstyle on the wolf though, and it is nice to move around faster instead of being tough. So, yeah, it has its charms. I think if they work on the balance a bit better to make them a little bit closer to each other, could be fun. I think when I think about it, like each of the things has their own kind of quirk. Like if you're the bear, you've got you know, your toughness and whatnot. If you're the wolf, you've got your extra movement speed. if you're the Earth guy, you have stuns and you know, crowd control of that nature, and then while you're Storm, you have the vulnerability procs. And you know, it's good that everything has its own theme once we get them all in line, and they're all going to be different in that way with what they bring to the table. I think that it's fine that they're not all working the same thing. So maybe the bear should have its thing as overpower. Yeah, overpowers are its quirk, but then the poisons from the werewolf aren't quite as good as the overpower because they just tick for so low. Maybe that's it. Maybe just make the poisons do a lot more damage, so that we don't need an interaction on the werewolf with overpower. Leave the overpower back on the bear still. Yeah, I think the only modification you can do to Howl at the moment is to heal allies and give allies the extra crit with it, with a legendary effect. But if you could call in some temporarily gained assistance from some wolves, yeah, I'd like that. Having some built-in companion support on the werewolf could be the way to go to give it its unique thing that's kind of decent. The reason why I kind of flip-flopped a bit, instead of saying, oh yeah, give werewolf overpower interactions, to saying, oh no, maybe everyone should keep their own separate thing, is the fact that you shouldn't have to just stick to one thing. Some of the hybrid stuff works kind of well. So if you end up with overpower on everything, then there's less and less point to having a build that's half werewolf and half bear and so on. I think having everything bring its own thing to the table is probably a better way to go with it, like currently it is. But you just need to make it worthwhile. I think at the moment, a lot of the time, if you're bringing any werewolf skills to the bear and werewolf setup, where you're playing both, everything werewolf you bring is worse than everything bear you can bring, and that shouldn't be how it ends up eventually. Patching, I think we should have a nice fair system where every time you bring something new, it's as good, but it's an alternative to what you would have had you have been purely that one specialization. Which is why some of the hybrid stuff that they've got between Storm and Earth already is brilliant. Like things like, if your next spell after Storm is an Earth spell, here's an interaction for some extra damage, or whatever. And things like, when you hit a Storm spell against an enemy that's been stunned, probably by an Earth spell, you gain extra from it. And when you hit an Earth spell on someone who's been made vulnerable, probably by a Storm spell, your Earth spells do something extra. And that already works great. It's just not as good between the wolf and the bear right now. So that's a lot of what I've got at the moment. Like the Debilitating Roar is a bear skill, and Grizzly Rage is a bear skill. But through items and effects, I have changed them into being werewolf skills through the aspects. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah, okay, yeah. That could work. You could have something like after hitting an enemy with Pulverize, it gains a debuff. Your next werewolf shred or something specifically, like because shred is on the same line as Pulverize, or something else, is an automatic guaranteed overpower. And it can be on a timer or a cooldown, or like one of the glyphs where it's against that enemy, you cannot proc that effect for another 20 seconds. You can only have one proc effect per 20 seconds is a fine way to balance things. Yeah, so you could end up using the thing from the other spec in a hybrid situation. That'd be fine. I mean, I think that's the thing that worries all of us. There's so much potential to be had if they just change things around a little bit or add new things in, that it's just a case of hoping that they do it. The scope is there for them to make the game brilliant in so many different areas, but will they? There's a lot of companies that are all like, we're gonna update this so it's gonna be so cool, and then they don't follow up on it, and they're all like, well, the money kind of ran out, and you already brought the base copy of the game. And we don't really have any DLC that we would want to cross-sell you, so that's it. No more patches. See ya. So the ones the NPC have is that kind of like rushing flurry of attacks where they do 3. I think Shred is kind of supposed to be that. So if you take the other version of Shred's last spell, rather than dashing, you only dash with the first attack, and then the other two just kind of, you know, make you lunge forwards. But mine only looks a little bit different because it's always a dash. Oh, ground slams. Yeah, they do have extra animations. Something like that would be cool. I think one of the problem areas of Werewolf is that Rabies isn't all that good. It doesn't do that much damage. It's fine, and you need things poisoned to get a lot of your other effects going off. But as you see, my Fortify dropped off there, and the damage just tanked down to practically nothing. You're not really going to be waiting for the whole 6 seconds for that 6,000 to go off, and you can't stack it. If you get a new effect, sure, the duration is now 6 seconds again, but you don't get the rest of the one that you just overwrote. So that 6,000 damage is a little misleading because you never get the whole 6,000 out of it. You just get the first tick for like 32 or whatever there, and then you overwrite it. Just you know, I don't feel like it softens the enemies up that much. Like I'll do a Rabies, like the guys, and ones I haven't hit, like that guy at the very back there. He's not exactly being injured by that. That took like 2% of his health off, and he was a generic skeleton that's not of any elite stature or status. Oof. I'm not sure. You know, I do a crit shred and I hit for 151,000. That's made a difference on the guy. The 2% loss from Rabies, not so much. Yeah. It's a little embarrassing when it's the same argument as my Canyons thing. Like, it's a waste of a button. I think if I had something other than Rabies there, like Hurricane, I'd actually get more out of it. The Hurricane would give me +2 skill ranks to all of my other guys if I took that effect. all my other abilities, which I think, including itself, including its own damage and the extra 2 ranks on all my abilities, would add up to more damage than that rabies would do. Even if I needed to generate a poison on someone through critting them before I got my poison effects, or, you know, I could put poison on Claw so that it guarantees to do a poison over 6 seconds. My other sources of poison would kind of rock compared to rabies. And then, bringing us around full circle, what does Bear get on that same talent area as the werewolf? The Bear gets Trample, which is a murderizing skill that rolls over everything, stuns them, and if you've taken the legendary effect, casts a 6 spans blades as you roll over everybody. I think the Bear wins on that tier. I think the Bear wins by quite a lot on that tier. I mean, they're not always in direct competition with each other, but also they're kind of in direct competition with each other. Yeah, I think it's just like, oh yeah, we've got the one transformation, maybe it should have werewolf as well. Like I hear Diablo 2 had werewolf, so, you know, maybe it had to be on there and included, but it wasn't included at the beginning. Like I actually, for the thumbnail for my YouTube videos, I don't know if you went over to the YouTube link in the end, but I wanted to find official artwork from Blizzard with the werewolf on it for my thumbnails, and then do a little bit of Photoshop work, get it how I wanted, and do you think I could find a single piece of official artwork that includes the werewolf? Nope, there isn't any. Can't be done. So that was nice. No concept art, no finished art, no nothing.
Show your teeth.
I don't know. I looked through like because they have a section for press release. They give out like a load of really high quality, amazing images because they do want websites to sit there and talk about their game. So rather than have everyone scramble for low quality E3 show screenshots, they give out footage, 3D models, artwork, and everything else for you to just pick up and download and use on your website. Or in my case, in the thumbnail. I just couldn't find anything on werewolf in there. I didn't spend forever looking back through all the historical stuff, because they were releasing them in like dated batches. But I had a good look through, couldn't find anything werewolf. Just went with a generic druid picture. But they may have an art book. It's not the kind of thing that I'd want to like go out and buy though. I definitely didn't buy any editions that included any expensive art books or anything, because that was going to be more money. Like the collector's edition of the game doesn't come with the game, from what I remember, which is bizarre. I got a unique chest. So it's another Mad Wolf's Glee to go onto the pile of Mad Wolf's Glee because I can't stop getting the same things forever for all the time. I don't know if that's going to be better than this one. It doesn't look like the starting stats were better, but I'll upgrade it to 5 and take a look. But yeah, that's a typical day. Me getting the same thing. Boy, I'd love to swear up a storm right now, but I'm gonna show some constraint. I'm gonna for anyone young watching this on YouTube later on, swearing isn't cool. Let's all build a world where we don't have to yell at a video game for not giving you the thing you wanted. Yeah, I'm hoping it's not a level lock time, because I'm starting to groan at the concept of leveling the rest of this to 100. This is taking substantial amounts of time. This is starting to look like less than 1 level a day, or a 1 level a day situation. So I'm going to be at this for another 17 days before I can even see level 100. Ouch. My time. Yeah, I mean we can, but I just I definitely have to do like level 30-ish nightmare dungeons. I'm not too sure if I'm going to be alive and use up all the lives if I go much higher than this. Like Werewolf seems to have this thing where it's great against same level enemies, but if I want to just go absolutely mad and fight stuff 5 or 6 levels over me, I just die immediately. They wallop so hard. Oh man, the rolls are so poor on this new one. It's got 4 more base item power on it. Less physical damage. Tiny bit more poison damage, which is rubbish, we already established. So much less damage reduction from enemies that are poisoned. Like 5.7% less. And then a little bit more movement speed. And my movement speed's fine. Like, I don't care about 3% more. And I don't care about 7 more armor. So that's going in the you know, the do not care pile. Yeah. Did I finish looting everything in there and everything else, or did I run out of inventory space? I think I finished the dungeon. I don't think I need to go back in. But, yeah, team for the level bonus. Like, team with you, team with random players. I mean, if you're saying you and you want to do level tier 30-ish nightmare dungeons, we can team up. But if you just met with random people, I just keep on going alone. Or if you wanted to do like a very different tier level, then I should probably carry on 31s. So you let me know. Oh no. You wanted me to team up with random people, but they might say hurtful things about me. You know. Whew. Meeting new people is hard.